I actually love going out into the city early in the morning when the streets are empty. It's a different perspective, not only on Las Vegas, but on life. I'm Amanda Younts, and my purpose in doing this podcast is to not only share my story and experiences through life, but to bring stories of those people that have had great influence on me and shaped the course of my life. Today's guest definitely has done that. No, this is not a sports podcast. However, I obviously love sports. Sports has had a great influence on my life decisions, and sports is what brought me and Jim together. What we have found is that there's so much more that has kept us together, including a mutual love for Tom Petty. I hope you enjoy today's podcast where we talk about leaving a legacy, March Madness in Las Vegas, and the joys of the greatest week in college sports. If you've ever thought about going to Las Vegas for March Madness or have just thought about creating a community around your passion, then this episode is for you. Welcome. It's great to see you.
You as well. It's always my favorite time of year.
Mine too. You're my Santa Claus. You really are. I think you are for a lot of people, bringing the joy and bringing the goods of what we've got coming in March.
We're always really excited. It's been such a growth from what started as 5 or 10 of us showing up every year to building it into this sort of creation that's gotten, running down a bunch of different railroad tracks that I didn't see coming. It's gone from part-time vacation, part-time event to 100% full, working on this from January to March, and then having to put together these 4 days of parties. So it has really turned into a labor of love.
That's why I wanted you on, because a lot of people are like, basketball, this isn't a sports podcast. You're right, it's not, although sports is my life and it has a lot of life lessons. Like we were saying, I think Madison Keys is a great one. But what you have done is way bigger than basketball. It is a labor of love. It is a community you have built. It is really a place where you bring so many people together, and it really is a legacy lever for you. That's why I'm like, it's so much bigger than basketball, and me and my friends say that as well. Yes, we go for basketball, and basketball was the platform that I got to know you through, but we've got a lot more in common than that. And I want you to talk about from the beginning, because my hope is that it's not become too big of a labor of love that you're like, well, this isn't any fun anymore.
There is.
Because that sometimes happens.
It's grown from a labor of love to work with love still involved. And the compensation has obviously grown a little bit for me to keep me interested. The real pleasure I take out of it is seeing everybody. I see a lot of the same faces every year, and they're so happy that Thursday morning is the most unbelievable thing I'm involved with. I honestly think that creating this group and creating this atmosphere is the greatest achievement of my life. Doing what I like to do, which is make other people happy. I can't get over how happy the people are every year, how excited they are, how thankful they are. It's just this group has grown into a great group that we don't have a lot of problems with, and they're so appreciative.
Reflecting on, we'll start from the beginning here in a minute of how we got to over 1,000 people in a Facebook group, which is remarkable. But what you said of you really don't have a lot of problems. And I've been obviously going to Vegas and March Madness and your parties for a while now. And I was reflecting of, there's booze involved, there's testosterone involved, there's betting involved, there's all these factors involved. I've never seen any sort of true ruckus. Now, there are keyboard warriors, and you get those online, but in person, it's not happening, and that's pretty remarkable. And I think that's a testament to the work you do in the group and the tone of the group.
I appreciate that. There's no question that the party has a lot of kindling, but we have not yet come across striking a whole fire with it. We keep it relatively reasonably priced, and I don't think there's another party out there giving you food and open bar for 14 hours for the price we offer. And part of that is me just wanting to be the lowest price because I want my people to be able to attend. And I know it's not price point that everybody wants to pay. And I know it's not, it's hard for me to say I can't change the price. I know you don't drink, because they're charging me one price per person.
People do complain about the food or whatever. I know. I was like, I want cookies, but I just did that because I've jokingly, lovingly, I'm like, I can take care of my own cookies. But the people that complain, I'm like, where are you going to go anywhere in Vegas for a day in March for this price? I don't care if you're watching basketball or not, you're not going to get it. At this point, anywhere in America, you're getting breakfast, lunch, dinner, all the drinks, snacks throughout the day. You're taken care of, and you're sitting watching the greatest sporting event there is on 4 screens all at the same time. There's not a lag. We're moving in between commercials, switching games. Like, you're not getting that anywhere.
No, I tend to agree with you. You can try to pay $500 at some other spots. You're not getting.
You can pay more.
There's no question about that. And maybe the food's a little nicer, and maybe the drinks are, top shelf as opposed to middle shelf. But at the same time, it's just a really good time, and a really good time to be surrounded by the people that are so similar to you, that look forward to this every year, and that are cheering on things happening in games that nobody else in the country is cheering on except our group is going out of their minds because the first half over-under is losing by a half point. It's just so much fun. I mean, it's fun for me. It's fun for the people that are my friends that have just now realized, you've been doing this party for how long? This is fabulous. It's really fun for me to show it off to all my friends and have them come in on Wednesday and help us out with the Madness Eve party, which is a whole nother massive undertaking. It's all part of giving my 18,000 members the best weekend of the year. To be honest, if they don't want to come here, if they like other places, we try to give them all that information as well. So we're not
and you do a great job. How did this get started? How did March Madness in Las Vegas get started?
Well, before I answer that question, I do think we should let listeners know that we did get desserts and cookies every day based on your ask. Now, part of our thing.
Absolutely.
I just want you to know that, if you get to me, I'll try. We have vegetarian and vegan meals, and we try to make sure everyone's happy.
You have Heineken Zero. You have non-alcoholic drinks.
Yes.
You have all the things. And if you ask nicely and you're a good person to people, usually you get things back in return, like a gift bag and more than just desserts. I got my own cupcakes last year. So,
well, friends get special benefits. So how did this all start? This started for me about 40 years ago when I went to watch the tournament in Las Vegas for the first time. I mean, I'd always been a huge Maryland basketball fan and a huge fan of college basketball. I had the best time. We were just out of college, and there was no parties or anything like that. And we ended up in whatever the link was before it was the link.
Imperial Palace was over there.
So we were sitting in Imperial Palace, and there's like 6 other people in there watching the games. I was just like, man, this is a great time. Let's try to do this as much as possible. I missed out on a few years in law school. I started coming back in the early to mid 90s, but just with friends. And then 12 years ago, I went to William Hill and said, I have this idea for doing a Wednesday night party. I feel like the people are coming into town and don't know what to do with themselves. A pocket full of money, and get them in and get them signed up for William Hill. Do you have a place that you'd be interested in doing this with? And they went to the Plaza, which was fine because I was kind of staying there at the time. It offered us at the time kind of what we wanted and what we thought we deserved, making up this idea in what was probably around 2010, 2011. I didn't actually start the Facebook group, but I was in there as one of the first dozen people who said, hey, this is an opportunity to talk about things that are going on around town, things we want to do. I think we had around 3,000 members then. And so we pushed it out, and we got probably 350 people to come to that first Madness Eve, and I was shocked, and William Hill was shocked, and the Plaza was ecstatic. Their pit bosses and their hosts would come to me afterward and say, my God, this is the best weekend we've had all year, the best Wednesday we've ever had. And so the numbers started to grow in both the group, the numbers started to grow in the other parties that we talked to and represented around town. And our interest continued to grow and continued to see what we could do to make people happy. And that was when I'd come up with the idea, hey, let's put our own party together, tie together everything that we know that the people like, do it over all the days of the tournament, and just build a party from what we know from our group is what they want. So we had that ready to go COVID year. I was actually in Vegas COVID year when it all went to crap. It went to crap on the Friday tournament week.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Beginning of the conference tournament week. And by Saturday, I mean, they were talking about shutting down the casinos and everything. And I knew that this year was not going to make it work. In 2021, we brought back Madness Eve or with no parties because they were restricted us in the number that could be in a room. It wasn't a full restriction, so we put together a little something for the people that were mostly in town, still coming. 2022 was our best year ever for, up till then. We sold every seat that we had. We had a huge turnout for Madness Eve.
Yeah.
So that year, I went to the plaza and said, hey, your showroom's not big enough for what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want basically complete control over the sporting. They kind of balked at that. So I went back to William Hill and said, who else would be interested in this? They came to me with the Strat and the Palms, both nicer properties in the plaza.
Absolutely.
The Palms made me an offer that I was excited about. The Strat came over the top and said, this is what we'll do with you. You'll have complete control. We'll give you all the staff you need. Let you go in our theater, which is larger than the plaza. I was like, great, let's make it happen.
Right.
I wanted to take it to the next level. So that's when we got. It was not a hard sell to either of those properties. We ended up with this Strat after I went in and saw that it was way nicer than people thought. They'd really done a lot of upgrading. It's owned by the people that own PTs in town. They have a huge network, and we sold the first party out.
That first party was massive.
So the Madness Eve party was by far the biggest we've ever had at the time. People were having a good time. William Hill was, helping to fund the party. We were coming in with a reasonable price. I think it's the best value in Vegas for any day of the year when we give you 6 hours of beer, soda, non-alcohol beverages.
Right.
3 hours of buffet. We try to do a gift bag or something like that every year as a T-shirt or a hat or something like that in it. That we just give the people.
You've got one of the hats on.
I do have one of the hats on, the orange hat, which is not a full giveaway, but we work for the March Madness team. You had an orange hat. So that first year was extraordinarily exciting for me. It was something really new, and we were all excited to try it. Friday and Saturday were off the chain. I mean, it was just incredible. The reception from the group, the reception from William Hill, the reception from the Strat, and the reception of everyone who participated. It all blew me away. And I was like, man, how have I created this event that makes me happy, people coming happy, sportsbook happy, and the hotel casino happy? But that's what we did. And so we tried to upgrade a little bit the following year, the food, because people didn't like the buffet being the same from 11 to 6 and that kind of stuff. We wanted to add stuff and add some better beers. We did all that for year 2. Again, we had sold out the 2 main halls by around this time of year. The Strat came to me and said, hey, how about if we give you PTs as well, which was their sports bar.
And it's a really great sports bar.
It really is way underrated. Mm-hmm. These are fabulous. The food is pretty damn good. The drinks are certainly cheaper than you're going to find at Fountain Blue. They're putting those on sale around February 15th, and they sold out in like a week. And they moved their Thursday and Friday comps down into the PTs, so it gave us a few more to sell upstairs. I thought the second year was better than the first. Madness Eve was a little disorganized due to some outside problems, but we made everybody happy. There was a lot of people on Madness Eve night. We've tried to make accommodations by putting in more seating. We're on track for another really big Madness Eve. We will make sure everyone has as much fun as we can. And then we have after party music. We try to bring in a band that people will like. But by 9 o'clock, after 6 hours of drinking, people flying in that day, it kind of settles down a little bit before it gets crazy again. And then they have a DJ.
Well, you've got a early morning. Us older people have to rest up.
Like by 8 or 9 o'clock, I'm done. I'm going to go upstairs and get changed. And that doesn't ever happen. It is a very fun, long day. Thursday and Friday both are just packed from the start to the finish. We try to make the most of that for everybody. And so this year, the Strat, it's like, where else can we go? Where else in here can we go? And I'm like, well, we can do the Viva Lounge and PT as well. And they're like 100%. So we have some more seating in there. It's available this year. For me, the main focus is always the main. So that's my baby. I sort of pawn off the stuff to friends to help me out downstairs on Thursday. But we give everybody the same food, the same drink, raffle prizes, whether you're upstairs or downstairs. The party should be very simple, just not 500 people going nuts. With St. Peter's Beats.
I just go nuts with my first to 15 bets. I think that's what people don't understand is all of the betting that's going the entire game. Even if it's not your team, if you don't have a rooting interest, you take one of those first to 15 or first half under, and you're totally plugged in the entire first half.
Like I've said, I'm a huge Maryland basketball fan, and we've had 2 nice wins in a row, so I'm very happy about them. But the first year we had it, they were the first game of the day on Thursday. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I have so much stuff to do. And I'm going to watch the Maryland games. It turned out fun because there was some West Virginia fans sitting right in front of us. So we had a good time going back and forth with them. I was back to concentrating on the game. And then they came up the last game on Saturday night. So it was just crazy how it felt. They didn't play last year, so there was no issues. I have high hopes to be in this year. They're playing very well.
Good.
I don't think Oklahoma.
Good. I don't either. The SEC is going to get 10 to 12 teams in. We're not going to be one of them. And that's going to be disappointing. But I don't want us to get in and have another first round disappointment. It's actually more relief on me when we just don't get in. That way I can go and have fun. Unless we're like a Final Four caliber team, then it's fine. But when we're like this, like we have been the last few years, like just don't go.
Well, I mean, we have that Porter Moser signed basketball,
Well, you know what's going to happen to them Wednesday night. We're going to have a little bonfire down at the Strat. I think he'll move on and probably have great success somewhere else because he was successful before us and he'll be successful after. But it's not a fit, and I can go on and on about we just don't care.
We can talk about basketball for the next 4 hours, but I don't think that's what
we could. Well, I could talk about it. I'll talk about it for the next 7 weeks and 3 weeks after. But we can talk about the Strat because the first year, which to me, it was an upgrade from the Plaza. I'll tell you, my favorite part about the Plaza was we used to get the discounted bingo. That's about the only thing I missed from the Plaza is going to play bingo when I got a little upset with the games.
Yeah, no bingo at the Plaza.
The Strat is way nicer than people give it credit for. And people need to give it a chance. And once people did the first year, I mean, my friends were like, oh God, you go the Strat? I'm like, absolutely. Because once you go in, you don't realize that you're at the Strat. So outside of the location and area outside of it, it's top notch. So I love the Strat. I even stayed there a couple of nights last year.
What did you think of the room?
I thought they were fine. I mean, and for the price, again,
nice.
the price, they've redone them, the price you get, quite honestly, it makes it a lot easier if someone has too much to drink or someone can't get up the next morning because, I'm already down there.
Yeah, you don't have to Uber, wait for the Uber or taxi, get in there late. Because those first 4 games of the day are usually the most exciting. Yes. You're so excited to be there. And then you're looking for your team. And then,
absolutely,
some people are starting to look for a nap around. There used to be that little break, but it doesn't really exist anymore. It makes it a lot easier if you're going to parties, if you take a room at the Strat. It's certainly not necessary. And I understand people who haven't been in there or haven't stayed there and some reluctance based on what it used to be. They've done a
No, it's great. They really have. So obviously I've been booked since August because I don't understand people that wait until right around Super Bowl to start making their plans, but I know that people are. So that's why we're coming out with all this information. If you're just now thinking, I want to go to Vegas for March Madness, that sounds fun.
What's funny about it, it's definitely one of only 2 events where people will come to Vegas to watch TV. The other one being the Super Bowl. But the difference between us and the Super Bowl is they party for 6 hours on a Sunday, whereas we party starting Wednesday and roll through the next 4 or 5 days. The Super Bowl parties cost just as much as or more than our party, and we're giving you 14 hours. And they're lucky if you're lucky in Knicks. It's certainly fun. Not to mention, got to be 400 venues in town that will do the Super Bowl, and then occasionally they'll try to do March Madness, and they have no idea that is for your place if you're going to do that, and keeping the games on and having enough TVs. Anybody who comes to our room, we work with them to make sure that the party they're providing is one that I'd be proud to say we're sponsoring them.
I think people don't understand. You can't just walk in a sports book and sit down anymore and watch a game. Like, that's when we moved to parties. And there were parties before you started yours, the one on Thursday, not Madness Eve, but there were parties and events because the sports books started just reserving all their seats as either comps or you're paying for them. And we were like, well, if we're going to pay $300, we want food and drink involved. Like, not just $300 to sit down or to have to meet a table minimum. You know what you're getting here. So that's really, I think some people, and you see it in the Facebook group of like, where can I catch a seat? And it's like, you're not just catching a seat, because even if it looks empty, you're not staying there because it's comp or it's reserved.
The casinos over the last 5 years have really tried to monetize this event as much as possible, especially in the sports books, even in the bars that participate in the prices have really reflected the fact that they want you. We've tried not.
Yeah, you're not just walking in a sports bar in Vegas that week
or most
without paying.
Either.
True.
It has changed the whole dynamic. Bringing in the big events in the actual, to be able to sit in the actual sports book, you better know somebody or about $300.
That has drastically changed, as has betting. Now, while I don't necessarily like that, it took a little bit of the fun out of it, having kiosks and online betting, the betting app, because used to you had to get up at 5 a.m. and get in line and actually talk to a person and hand them money to place a bet. Like, people don't understand. This was part of the fun and the labor of love of March Madness. Now you can stay in bed and make your early round picks in your pajamas on the phone. Way different. But I still think there's something to, they passed betting's legal in a lot of states. And so people are like, well, there's no point in me going to Vegas. There is, because you're still not going to get the camaraderie, the TVs, all of the interaction. Even if you are betting on your phone, I think people aren't on their phone. That's what I notice is people bet on their phone and then they don't ever look up from their phone to actually watch what they're betting on, as opposed to at the parties, you make your bet and then people are engaged.
Yeah, that's one word I would describe our people. They are engaged. I mean, we do have a betting lot in the room. We have some kiosks outside this year. Also, we like to get people signed up for the app, so that, they're not shut out. Every year people will be complaining about the lines being too long and being a pain in the ass. So that has definitely improved. It's required that, you can watch it at home. But all of our members who try to do that one year are back the next year, because it's not the same experience by any stretch. First of all, you're in Vegas.
Right.
That's better than any place you can be. And second of all, no one in your hometown knows what they're doing as far as presenting a acceptable March Madness party or having people there that are of the same mindset as you. It just doesn't exist anywhere. They all come back home. Actually, try actually being at home. They're like, no, this doesn't. We just try to keep that spirit and that camaraderie every year. That's always been part of our job, to make it a destination. It's very cool.
Well,
boy has a bet.
You've got to get working with the airlines. I think that's your next stage, because
it was rough this year.
It was rough this year, and
that's why easy.
I've been watching since August, and honestly, flights, there's been no benefit to booking early on flights. It was rough all the way around, but I think everything else, it's worth it. And if you're like me, you have a card and you get miles, and the trip kind of recycles itself of you put everything on, you use your miles, and good to go. That's how I work it through. So What has been your favorite part of doing all this? What keeps you coming back?
No question. It's the smiles I see from people, being able to surround myself with 500 people that are ecstatic watching the games, and they're so thankful, and they come up and express that to me. I didn't think that that would be such a big thing for me 5, 6, 7 years ago, but each year it does to play. It's why I do this, because to be honest, it's a lot. But like I said, there's some financial benefit in it for me, not enough that I'm retire off of it, but it helps a little bit. But seriously, like I said, it's the most gratifying and the greatest thing I've done in my life. And to be able to share it with so many people, it just makes me happy. I know who I am at this point in time. I'm a pathological people pleaser, and this certainly fills that bill for me. But I mean, I enjoy interacting with the people, help solve their problems, put them in touch with people at the right venues. I mean, I really just want to make everyone stay for March Madness as best they can be for wherever they want to go. That is so rewarding to me, and I know you will believe this. I don't get it as a contract lawyer. That's not the most rewarding
Shocking.
thing in my life. So this is definitely it. Me being able to show it off to more of my friends every year.
Yeah, your friends and family, that's been fun for me to get to meet them and have them see how many people you bring the joy to.
They're all, first time they see it, they're all amazed, especially my friends who really had no idea that I'd been doing this for so long. My family and friends are very supportive. That's really something I've needed a lot the last years. I am so thankful for all of them, you included, of course, that, they're just happy to be part of it too now. Happy to, get the wristbands organized and get the envelopes ready so that we make it.
Yeah, get the damn raffles organized.
Yeah. We have them on the list this year, what's going each day. And then we have some good stuff. I try to mix it up with oldies and people that are playing now. So we have a cool collection of autographed jerseys we're giving away and passes to the parties, as well as free nights at the Strat. We have William Hill sign-up bonuses and reload bonuses this year. We're genuinely excited about how good this year should be. A new food menu that changes out in between lunchtime and dinner, and upgraded food as well. The question started is, what about it? Is everything. Yeah, and by far the best part is seeing the happiness, and that's where I get the feeling of being Santa Claus. You get the cold. It's great.
And you don't disappoint. That's the thing. It's like, even years when the games aren't great, that's when I have the best time interacting with people. I think this year there's a lot of parity. I feel like the games are going to be great across the board, but you never know.
Right. You never know what any game's going to give you. You think you do going in, and you put some money on your opinion, but
for those of us that think we know, do the opposite. We take it pretty seriously. I'm going to list my pet peeves, and then I want to hear yours. My number one is when people ask me about my bracket. Okay, I equate brackets to amateur hour of people going out drinking on New Year's Eve and St. Patty's in Vegas. Brackets are fine. We bet on individual games.
Right. We don't hand out any brackets at our party.
No.
And it's not because
no one's doing bracket.
We understand that if you want to do a bracket with your work group or something like that, or have at it. But for us, every game is essentially a new bracket. We have something new to bet on, and then a half hour later, we have a new game to bet on. And like you said, they've added so many bets, so that, I'll look up, I'll be like, what the hell are all these people screaming about? And I'll have to search the 4 games for one that's coming to an end, and then see what the screaming's all about. And that makes it. It really does. We do allow people that want to play brackets to play their brackets. And I don't know if we look down at it. We don't. We want everyone to be happy. If that brings them happiness, at it. But don't talk to me about who I got going to the Final Four. I'm only concerned with who I got going in the set game of the day.
Exactly. Yeah. Who do you think's going to the Final Four right now? If we were going today.
I honestly think if you ran a tournament this year 100 times, you'd get 30 to 50 different players. I do agree that's very. Houston is a team that, to me, with their offense and defense play, would be one I would probably take, because you probably get a little positive EV on them, because other people are taking Duke and, the other big names, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia. I mean, any team that can go into Kansas, get them on their home ground and embarrass them by scoring 6 points in the last 7 seconds, descendants who never they bought themselves a fan
There,
with that.
there were some unhappy people around me. I had to kind of stay quiet. I would love to see Houston make a run. I've gotten over my Kelvin Sampson grudge. I think he's done a tremendous job. I hope they can stay healthy. That's what's hurt them.
Yeah.
His teams have been good the last couple of years. They've been injury prone. So hopefully, my next pet peeve is people that want to go to the pool during March Madness. However, there are great parties at the pools that you guys do promote. I think maybe the Palms is one of them. If people want to go and watch basketball at the pool, they can do it, but it's a pet peeve of mine.
There certainly is a dynamic of mostly younger fans that want to spend some time at the pool. We've had really good weather the last couple of years, which has been helpful for them. But it's no guarantee. And it's cold as hell here in Vegas right now, colder than I knew yet, which has surprised me. My wife and my mother are all like, what is this? You didn't tell us it was going to be this cold. I'm like, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know.
Right.
But, there's no guarantee that if you buy passes to a pool or you buy, a cabana, that it's not going to be 45 degrees. That's not where I want to watch games. But if that's where if you want to watch them there, or at Sahara has a really nice pool, Circa, nice pool.
Yeah.
But I don't know that standing next to 12 guys in a swimming pool would be my ideal way to watch a game under any circumstance, any game. I understand the appeal of a cabana, and every place that we work with has sufficient viewing so that people can see all 4 games. So for under any
Me either. Focused, keeping the focus, and I don't want to hear about it being cold because I actually was going to wear my March Madness hoodie today, but we hit the feast, and so I didn't need a hoodie. And the snow that's been on the ground the entire month might actually melt this week. I'm not sure. So I'm going to take Vegas cold anytime over.
It's not the same. I spent many years in Madison, Wisconsin. Winters here, I would take every time over those. So, especially the snow that just sticks around for weeks. That would be extraordinarily depressing to me until I finally broke and said, let me pick anywhere on the globe. I don't live there anymore. After 17 years, not having to work hard and just goofing, playing a little volleyball. So, I miss it, but I don't miss the winters under any circumstances. And I do love your, sweatshirts. Very, very cute.
Yes, bringing the spirit today. Okay, so anything else on March Madness? I've got my Chris Jones dry eyes going before I hit you up with the music because you are a Swiftie.
I have become a Swiftie in the last 2 years. I went and saw her in concert. It was a life-changing experience for me, which I was very surprised about. She's not my all-time favorite. I'm still the 70s boy. I will listen to Jackson Browne. Fly to see him. So yes, I'm definitely ready to talk music anytime, any place. I mean, I try to put together the song list for in between games and in between songs. And, I always make sure there's plenty of Tom Petty.
That's right. Because you are the Tom Petty of March Madness and the Santa Claus of March Madness. I have to say, I love your top 5. You sent me your top 5 songs. I don't know if you know this. Wildflowers is number 3 for you on your song list. That's what you sent me. It's not even a top 5 Tom Petty song for me. It blows people away. I love the lyrics. I love the words. I don't actually love the song. Is that weird?
No, I understand it. And there's Tom Petty songs that everyone loves, and Tom Petty songs that like, come on. I've heard Refugee 1,000 times. I can do. And I don't mean to call you out on your songs, but like Breakdown and American Girl, I'll listen to those back to back every day of my life and be ecstatic. So I think there's such good songs. And then you get into the middle stuff with, Hold Back Down and Mary Jane and You Don't Know How It Feels. They're all amazing songs.
Yeah.
I had back surgery a month prior to him playing Jazz Fest for the last time. I didn't care. I was like, get me to the gate. I'll get in from there, and hobbled in and sat in the bleachers and was mesmerized for 2.5 hours of nothing but Tom Petty music. He died in the following September, and I was never so happy to have gone down to as I was to see him on his last.
Yes. Well, he opened that tour in OKC.
I didn't know that, but yeah, it's a good choice.
Right? Yeah. So he does. It was sad, but like kind of like you, glad that was the 40th and glad it kicked off in OKC. And glad he did that. So, okay. And of course, Jackson Brown, I love your playlist. I love everything about March Madness. So it's all in jest and fun. Whether there are cookies or not, I'm coming back. Whether there's a good Tom Petty playlist or not, I'm coming back.
There's always going to be both. You're not going to ever miss those. I choose the music.
That's right.
I choose the food. So my friends want something, out of my way to make sure it happens. You made a lot of other people happy because the cookies disappear at a rapid pace all day long. I think this year on Friday, we're doing blondies and brownies instead of cookies. To give everybody something different. The Saturday food is probably the best of the 3 days because we have pizza in there. Just trying to bring in a little more.
Mix it up.
And mix up the food so that people don't get bored every day. We're very happy with where we are now as far as what we offer. And I may go see, it's funny how there's concerts every once in a while in our venue. And I'm sort of possessive of it. But, Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees is coming up. I'm like, I could bum a ticket to that. So, and Rick Springfield played there last year, which was kind of cute. So they do try to do a little bit of music at that show.
Very cool. If people are interested in the parties and anything about the group, they can go to the Facebook group, which is March Madness in Las Vegas. You guys have it and keep it so well organized on listing out the parties, tagging things, events where people can go and search and find what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And find the link.
We want everybody to be happy, even if you don't want to spread. I understand that the Cosmopolitan appeals to some people and Mountain Blue, which is beautiful, appeals to people as well. We'll help you find your way anywhere. Top Golf, they work as well. If that's what you think you want to spend your March Madness time hitting some balls and watching all 4 games on the back screens there, it's just another alternative. So we try to give them every opportunity.
It's great. And I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you coming every year and bringing your fun people with you. Well,
yes.
They tend to go in and out as far as what they want to do. I'm glad you stick with us. And I know I know you're the lead dog on that side. So we definitely appreciate that. They keep trying places.
We do. I've kind of gotten to the point of I'm going here. If you want to go somewhere else, you book it, but I'm going to be here. That's my new motto moving forward. I'm kind of burned out on being the ringleader of things.
We all have our crosses to bear. But
yes,
the main point is do what makes you happy. As far as the party, as far as the music, as far as everything in life, it's too short to be not be where you want to be, and especially learning to be able to say that to people and not feel guilty or not feel like you're just putting yourself in front of everybody else. We all deserve it, which is simply how we try to do everything. And it's hard, especially for people police like you and I.
Yep.
We don't stop.
That we are.
Trying to make stuff better. It doesn't always work, especially with our personalities. And we get some disappointing responses to things we do. And then we just realize that we're not all the same. We're all the same. Do what's best for us. And it makes you happy. So if it makes you happy, it can't be happy. Sheryl Crow.
That's right. Sheryl Crow right there.
She'll be in Vegas in June. Playing in the Cosmopolitan. So.
Okay.
One thing about moving to Vegas is there's way, way more concerts to see. Most recently I saw the Eagles at the Sphere.
One of the Eagles of the Sphere, but
the Sphere is very cool. The Eagles are old guys cashing a check, who I love. Is probably one of my top 5 groups. And every time I go see them, I'm disappointed. But I keep going back. But the Sphere, they're definitely a good place to see concerts. And the Grateful Dead is in town the weekend we're there.
I do know that. I hope someone will just drop me a ticket. Drop me one of those $600 tickets so I can go.
I thoroughly get that. After living in New Orleans for 2 years, one of my best friends in town was the ticket director at the Smoothie King and the Dome. It's been really hard for me to go back out in the world and start paying $300 to see Lady Gaga and $150 to see Barry Manilow. Just because sometimes, it's not worth that to me. But at the same time, there's a lot more opportunities, and I have relationships with a lot of people in town now who are more than willing to help me out. I can't, shouldn't complain. Nobody needs to pay $300 for the concert. That's the minimum
Right.
to go see anything.
I keep hoping I'll luck into it, or I'll manifest it, put it out in the world. There we go. It's out there. Okay.
Everyone needs a miracle every once in a while.
That's right. I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in March.
Cannot wait.
And it's going to be a great time.
It's been a great year.
Yep, it is.
And can't wait to see you in your day. No question. It's amazing.
We love it. We have the best time, and it's our Christmas.
Yeah. We'll be there. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Midlife Catalyst, a place where ordinary people share extraordinary stories. Reach out if you have questions about visiting Las Vegas, not just for March Madness, but at any time. I have links and resources in my Substack that will take you directly to the March Madness in Las Vegas Facebook group. I have prompts and reflections. And my questions for you, which are the questions that I myself have, are: how do you want to be remembered after you are gone? Where and how are you building your legacy? One of my favorite books that I have studied in the last few years is by Clayton Christensen, and it's called How Will You Measure Your Life? Will you measure your life by the amount of trips you took, money you saved, jobs you earned, titles you had? Or will you measure your life by the legacy and impact that you leave on others? One of my favorite exercises to do, mainly because I had to do it myself for many other people, is if you've never attempted or thought about writing your own obituary, I highly encourage you to do so. It might sound morbid, but don't you want to be the author of your own story? Don't leave it up to someone else to decide the metrics by how you lived. Make it known, write it down. If you are not living the life that you want to be remembered for, then make some changes and step in to your passion and purpose and live in alignment with your true, authentic self. For more resources on any of these topics, you can visit my Substack page with the link below, amandayounts.substack.com, or you can go to the Midlife Catalyst website, midlifecatalyst.net. Please reach out if you are interested in being a guest on the show. You can send an email to info@midlifecatalyst.net. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow or subscribe. Leave a quick review and share it with someone you know who would also love it. If you have a group of friends who want to do something to leave a legacy, step into it. Be the author of your own story and leave your legacy. Thank you for joining Midlife Catalyst.